We don't just have the Epstein tapes that are in the possession of journalist Michael Wolff. We have the Bannon tapes. And Steve Bannon's secret role, now made public by Michael Wolff here on Court of History and Legal AF, coaching Epstein for behind the scenes for a potential media comeback after he already signed a non-prosecution agreement in 2008 down in Florida. The role of Bannon has never been properly explored. We do it on Legal AF and Court of History with Michael Wolff, and here's a clip.
Who should be subpoenaed who might have information by this committee? Because the people they've subpoenaed almost certainly know nothing.
Well, Steve Bannon for starters.
Really, what generally would Bannon have to offer?
Well, I mean, Bannon was extremely close to Epstein for the better part of 2 years before he died. They were brought together because of their mutual relation, because they both had a close relationship with Donald Trump, and they both had significant animosity toward Donald Trump, and they spent hours and hours, countless hours, talking about Donald Trump. So if there is anyone who knows about that relationship from the horse's mouth, it certainly would be Steve Bannon.
Bannon says he has tapes. Do you know anything about it?
I know exactly about it. I know literally everything because I was there. And I have tapes of Bannon's tapes. So Bannon's edited version of what he has, Bannon maintains, of course, that he was making a documentary about Trump. This is entirely 100% not true. Bannon was coaching, not making a documentary about Trump, making a documentary about Epstein, pardon me. Bannon was coaching Epstein for a theoretical mea culpa media appearance. I mean, this was at a moment in time when forces were closing in on Epstein, where the public perception of what he had done could not have been worse. And the proposition was that Epstein should go on a national news show of 60 Minutes, something like that, and bare his chest. And Bannon took it upon himself to train Epstein in how to do this. And there were 3 separate sessions in which Bannon worked on coaching Epstein.
The tapes are basically media training sessions between.
Not basically, that's what they specifically are, yes.
And so they show Bannon prepping Jeffrey Epstein with the answers that he should give and how he should frame them.
Yes, exactly.
How did it go? You were present.
I was. It was fascinating, actually. And I recount some of this. There's a piece that I wrote which appears in my book Too Famous, which is a collection of essays, right. And there is a piece I wrote that recounts this this moment when Bannon has Epstein on videotape with a.
Did he ever play in the back for Epstein to review and show what
he did? He did. Yes. And Bannon regarded them and characterized them this way as as the tapes you use in for football to analyze the post game analysis.
What did Bannon think were Epstein's most favorable answers?
Well, I think that he thought that there was a whole set of answers that in fact Bannon could not believe. I can hear in my mind now Bannon's guffaw that someone would would think that you could go on national television and say such things. But I also think that Bannon believed that Epstein was not an unsympathetic narrator of his own life story, and that this might play to his benefit. Although, frankly, this was, to my mind, all pretty dicey stuff. I was
like, was it a rags to riches story of a poor boy who worked his way up as self-made? Is that what he was trying to prep him for?
Well, yes. I mean, there was that, and I think that he was trying to emphasize that that there was more to Jeffrey Epstein's life than had been portrayed. So, but the other thing was, and Bannon was trying to be as hostile in his preparation as possible. So the real effort here was, you're going to go into this forum, and you're going to be met by someone who is going to want to take you apart and take you down. So this is what you have to be prepared for, and that was what.
Did Bannon prepare him to discuss the Trump relationship?
Somewhat. But not. I would not. As I recall, that was not a key part of these tapes. But it obviously was. It certainly was touched on, and was a factor in terms of who might be called to before Congress. Certainly, as I say, Bannon was well versed in all aspects of Epstein's relationship with Trump.
Did Epstein tell Bannon about his relationship with Trump in the discussions you were present at?
Not for this, not on the
tapes.
Not on the tapes, but yes, in other discussions that I was present at, yes, definitely. But it is interesting that at that point, and this is 2019, in the several months before Epstein was rearrested, the Trump-Epstein relationship was certainly in the media, and that's what these tapes were trying to answer. That was not looked at as a major part of the Epstein story.
Welcome back. We have about a dozen contributors here on Legal AF. One of them is Sidney Blumenthal and Sean Wilentz. They do a thing called Court of History, the highest court in the land, as are effectively our resident historians. They put everything in historical context. They get amazing guests off of Sidney and Sean's Rolodex, people like Michael Wolff, for instance, who's continuing to give us new breakthrough information about Epstein and Trump's relationship, and now about Steve Bannon. If you like what we're doing, hit the free subscribe button. There's no paywall, no outside investors, no corporate media, no corporate parent telling us what to do. We just need your help. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.